presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election.
Chairman of the occasion and our dear President, my own, let me, Your Excellencies, let me stand and hold you and insist in protocols. My mind is a very simple one. First is to say big congratulations on your birthday, Dele Momodu. And thank you for what you did here, because until you said it, when we came in here, we were wondering what happened to this place. It's unfortunate that you have to be the one to change this place rather than Nigeria. So thank you very much for that contribution. He's the one who changed the carpet and everything. That's how Nigeria works, lack of maintenance. So it's important that it's noted. And thank you for showing that we need to maintain a place. Because, like you said, you shouldn't have been the one doing it. We must learn to maintain before we build a new one. We should start doing new one until we finish the existing ones. Number two, I thank the guest lecturer for what you did and what you said. Thank you. When the president of Ghana said they are generating and distributing 5,000 megawatts, I was wondering, Ghana with 1/7 of our population probably generates and distributes more than us. I was doing the calculation and we're discussing with Governor Duke. We must declare emergency in power. And the way to go is very simple. Embedded power. And insist on gas supply. We have gas. We have it all over the place. I do not think, yes, we need the dollars. But I think making Nigeria more productive and pulling our people out of poverty, especially in the north, will give us far more value and dollars than focusing on exports. I think it's time to declare emergency. Geometric has shown it in Aba that embedded power will help us in that emergency. We should encourage it all over Nigeria. Thank you.
Dr. Rabiu Kwakwanso, Presidential Candidate of the NNPP in the 2023 elections, former Senator of the Federal Republic, former Governor of Kano State.
Our royal fathers here present, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by thanking Almighty God for giving us this opportunity to be here, and also it's an opportunity to congratulate our brother, our friend, Dele Momodu, for attaining this age. I say on behalf of all of us, once again, congratulations to you. The chairman of the occasion, the former President of Ghana, I'm sure many people are not aware that Nigeria is the second home, and in Nigeria, Kano in particular. And because of his living in Kano, he speaks Hausa more than many of us. So it's a pleasure meeting you here once again, and I thank the celebrant for giving us this opportunity to meet our friends and brothers. Guest Speaker, thank you for being enlightened. In fact, if there was time, I had wanted you to tell us more about your experience of the power generation and distribution in Aba. And it will be a good opportunity, especially for businessmen and women, not only in Nigeria, but across the world, to achieve much more. Let me at this point say that especially the Governor Oshun is here to say that the importance of electricity cannot be overemphasized. And that was why when I was governor in Kano, I selected 2 out of 23 earth dams that we have in Kano, and they installed some equipment, and I'm happy to say that we were able to set up the power generation in Kano on Chalawa Gorge and Tiga dams, producing or potentially to produce 35 megawatts. We completed the job in 2015, and I'm happy to say that I left $43 million in our account for the incoming governor to do the distribution. Of course, not much was being done, but I'm sure our governor now, Abba Kabir Yusuf, will complete. You are laughing as if you knew that we couldn't find the 43 million naira when we came back. So Governor Adeleke should look at, and all other governors for that matter, should look at the possibility of generating power, because it's not a matter of only the federal government alone. We will have to put all our heads and hands together to ensure that there is adequate and, of course, enough electricity in this country. For purposes of time, I want to say to celebrate once again, congratulations, and we wish you many more years of productive services to our nation. Thank you, and God bless you.
It is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to the inaugural Dele Momodu Leadership Lecture on the occasion of my 64th birthday. You may be wondering, why is he starting a lecture series? The reason is not far-fetched. The clock is ticking, and by the grace of God, on my next birthday, I will be 65, and will undoubtedly qualify to be an elder statesman. In my moment of soliloquy, I asked, what next? I'm sure I have written over 1,000 articles, spoken endlessly on radio and television, but not much has changed for my greatly endowed country, Nigeria, and its long-suffering people. My verdict was that criticism alone cannot do the job. I decided to use my God-given wealth of influence and confidence to reach out to our leaders, technocrats, and my fellow citizens in general. So the next phase of my struggle would be to encourage some dialogue and conversations. I'm someone who follows his thoughts with action. So I immediately came up with the idea of a national and international lecture. And this is the first of its series. So my first move was to think of a topic. That was quite easy. My country is riddled with all manner of debilitating challenges of which we are all guilty in various degrees of culpability. Rather than continue to have the blame game, of which again we are all experts at, and we're also champions of complaining and lamenting like the biblical Jeremiah. So I decided to do something. Why can't we end this endless energy crisis? The most disturbing thing for a Nigerian, the most embarrassing, is this energy thing. It's as if it's rocket science, and we go to smaller countries and we enjoy this energy that we cannot have here. So I thought to myself, if I want to buy any product, all I need to do is pay and it will be delivered to me. So how come we pay for electricity and it cannot be delivered? I can see Prof looking at me. That is the challenge I'm throwing at you and our leadership seated here today. With all enough dependable generation capacity at 5,454 megawatts. And so the current doomsday that we're going through is not because we don't have the generating capacity, it's because we don't have enough fuel to be able to meet the demand. And so current generation capacity stands at 5,454 megawatts both for domestic consumption, and Ghana currently exports power to neighboring Togo, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin within the framework of ECOWAS cooperation. I'll touch a bit on the West African power pool in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, on the local front, an aggressive rural electrification policy launched in 2009 increased electricity access rates in Ghana from 60.8% to over 80% in 8 years. The solid foundation we laid has resulted in an impressive 88.5% current access rate. It means that 88.5% of Ghanaians have access to electric power. And Ghana is on course to achieve universal access to electricity at the target date. Policy reforms have equally been at the center stage of our energy sector, with power sector reform dating back to the early 1990s by the Ghanaian government, resulting in the creation of an Energy Commission in 1997 as a technical regulator of electricity, natural gas, and renewable energy industries. And also the formation of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission in the same year provides guidelines for tariffs and charges on public utility services, especially water and electricity. More importantly, we have unbundled the vertically integrated Volta River Authority, and I'm sure you would have heard about this. They are the managers of the Kosovo hydroelectric power station, but they also control the national electric grid. And so we unbundled it and made them concentrate on power generation, and then we formed Gridco, which is responsible for all the transmission lines in the country. For electricity to satisfy domestic use and export, and gas supply constraints is beginning to pose significant challenges, threatening the nation's power supply reliability as demand continues to increase. It's estimated that demand increases between 10 and 12% every year. And so it means that you must always plan ahead, both in terms of having access to enough fuel and also putting in the generation capacity to be able to meet that demand. Since the beginning of the year, power supply reliability has been erratic, largely due to the inability of the current government to expand and increase the gas infrastructure to meet the rising demand. This therefore calls for very serious policy rethinking if we are to resolve this current challenge. And that's why the compare said that doomsday is back. This year we've been suffering a lot of power outages in Ghana.